One of the benefits of using Panorama is centralized management. And so in this video, I'd like to walk through making some configuration changes in Panorama and verify that they get pushed and committed out on the firewalls that Panorama is managing. So back here in Panorama, if we go to the Panorama tab, and then on the left, if we go down to templates, we could modify anything in the Vegas template stack. We could also modify, if we go to device groups, we could modify anything in the Nevada or the Vegas group, and that would impact Firewall 1 because it would inherit that. In fact, it already is. If we go to policies and we select the Nevada device group, we have the Nevada security rule. So that rule should already be in place in any devices that are in Nevada or below it. So if we go to, for example, Vegas group, look at that. So the policy's already been modified based on our device groups. So we could modify this rule that's associated with Nevada, and that would impact a firewall. Or we could play with the templates that it's currently using, and that would be elements regarding network or device. So let's just take a quick peek and remind myself of what he's using, of what Firewall 1's using. So we'll click on Panorama, and under templates, we've got the template called Vegas template stack. And so if we wanted to modify that, let's do that. Let's just modify the Vegas template stack because we have a few other templates we could add to that. So here's the Vegas template stack. Firewall 1's currently using it, and it has one template in that stack. Let's click on add. Let's add another template. Let's add, how about DNS? And let's also add the loopback. So currently, I'm just going to pop over to FW1 just for a moment. And under network, if we go to interfaces and go to loopback, currently it has no loopback interfaces whatsoever. But that's about to change because we just modified the template stack that's associated with Firewall 1, and we've included the loopback 1 template and also the DNS template. So let's go ahead and click on OK. And it's showing us right here the templates that are involved. And if there's conflicts, the one on top is going to win. So if there's a conflict with loopback or the DNS, if any of those elements are also in the Vegas template, the Vegas template is going to win out. So we'll go ahead and click on commit. Then we'll click on commit and push. So here's what changed up here. And also here's the firewall that needs those changes that's going to be pushed out to. So we'll click on commit and push. So now that Panorama says it's done, we also want to make sure that it's finished over on Firewall 1. So I'm going to give it just another minute or two to confirm it has enough time to do the commit over at Firewall 1. And then when we go to Firewall 1, we should have those changes in place. All right, so I'm going to click on close here. We'll hop over to Firewall 1. Again, the weird colors is due to the filter I have there, but that's okay. And so here on loopback, if we click on refresh, I don't see a loopback. But if we go down here to tasks, that's because the commit hasn't been finished yet. So here it shows who initiated that commit. That was Panorama. Fantastic. And it looks like it is almost done. So we'll give it a chance to completely finish. And then we'll refresh this page regarding network, interfaces, and loopbacks. And we should see a loopback 1 interface, courtesy of the template that's associated with the template stack that Firewall 1 is using. All right, it says it is done. So we'll close that and click on refresh. Survey says, I love it. Now, one question might be for somebody looking if they're logged into the firewall is like, okay, where did this configuration come from? This little green gear indicates it came from the template stack that's associated with this firewall. All right, what was the other element we were going to go look at? Oh yeah, the DNS. So that would be under device. So on Firewall 1, we'll click on device. And on the left, we'll make sure setup is selected. And then the third tab over is services, the third sub tab right here. And this shows us, oh, this is perfect. Oh my gosh, this is great. This little gear here, it has the gear and it has like a little red overlay on top of the gear. And that's because this 8888, that was configured both on the firewall initially, and it was also part of the template in the template stack that was higher up. And so as a result, it took this 8888, and then it took the second one because there's no competition for that. So our DNS template had that as the second position, and it didn't have an existing second entry either configured nor in its template that it created when we imported it on Panorama. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this gray mode for a moment so we can see better. All right, and then here's the gear icon right there. So it says from template stack override. So if we click on that, and we can also click on the gear as well. Here, the green is showing us the value it got from the template stack. If we hover over the red gear on top of the green gear, it's showing us that this came from the Vegas template stack value 8888. So that's the conflict. We had two templates, and one was higher priority. So options exist right here by clicking on the gear, the green gear, if we want to override it, just put the value we want in, or to click again and remove the override. In the case of the second DNS entry, we don't have any competition. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and click on cancel. Let's go back to Panorama. So here's our template stack. Let's do this. What we could do is we could take this DNS template in the template stack and move it to the top, or we could just take the Vegas template and remove the DNS part from that. Either way is great. So let's go to templates. The DNS information would be under device. We'll select the correct template so we don't forget. So I'm going to choose Vegas template. So device, Vegas template, setup is selected on the left, and we're going to click on the third tab over, and that is services. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and click on the gear, and I'm going to remove 8888 from this template. So let's go ahead and use the drop down and choose none. Click OK. And then if we go back to Panorama and on the left back to templates, because the Vegas template no longer has the DNS information in it, there won't be a conflict when this one hits. Also, what we could do is we could just take this one here, select it, and move it up to put it on top, because the ones on top have priority. With those changes in place, we'll click on OK, click on commit, and then we'll go ahead, commit and push. It's confirming what's going to be changed. So we made the modifications to the Vegas template and also the Vegas template stack because I reordered them. It's also specifying who that impacts, which is PA-FW1, who's going to get a pushed update. So we'll go ahead and do a commit and push, and we'll give that about 2 minutes to complete. All right, so Panorama says it's done. So we'll click on close there, and let's take a road trip over to PA-FW1. This is Firewall 1 directly, and we'll go to tasks. And that's showing that the commit that was initiated by Panorama is not yet done. So we'll let that finish. And then we'll go verify the DNS information. All right, 55%. We are almost there. And one thing I've discovered is that when a Panorama does a commit, it sometimes takes a little bit longer, like it gets to 99%, and then takes a little bit longer than on the local firewall by itself. So before you test for changes, make sure the commit is 100% done. All right, so it says it's done. I'm going to go ahead and click on close. And we're right here, so we'll do a refresh. Ooh, and it's still showing my primary DNS server. Let's do another refresh here on this page. Look at that. So I still have here, it says from template stack override, Vegas template stack. So let's click on the gear. And that may have been because this firewall was manually configured with that value. And then it got the template, which was telling it to go ahead and specify the value. I'm going to go ahead and click right here, which now says it's using the Vegas template stack value of 208.67.222, etc. And this also brings up another really good point. When we're bringing a firewall in and we import the config and we're setting up the templates and the device groups, there may be a short window of time we need to go back in and do a little bit of housekeeping just to make sure everything's landed the way it needs to. So the override that we just saw where it was 8888 was from the local firewall having that value configured manually, and then the template also specifying it wanted to push it out. So they're giving us the benefit of the doubt to make sure we want to choose what's coming from the template. In fact, just as a quick test, if we go ahead and I'm going to click on OK there. If we went back to network and we went to interfaces, here's our loopbacks, because those are brand new. Those did not exist on the firewall. They were pushed out by Panorama as a brand new configuration. But if we go to Ethernet, I'll see right here, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Here's Ethernet 1, 2, and 3. They were all configured before Panorama began managing it. So once again, here it's showing the override. So I think they wanted to err on the side of caution to make sure that if we're pushing a template, we're not forgetting anything or causing a firewall that's currently working to no longer function. So that behavior is the fact that we had these values previously configured, and then we're also getting it pushed. So thank you for joining me in this introduction to the world of Panorama and the world of Palo Alto. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.